What's going on, everybody? Free-to-play OG here, and today I am excited to be bringing you our free-to-play and new player advanced guide to dispatch mode in Marvel Future Fight. In today's video, we're going to be brushing up on one of the guides that I did very early on this channel for dispatch mode that was missing a lot of juice, and today I'm hoping to bring the juice to our dispatch guide by bringing you some advanced tips covering some late game teams, some of the more trouble bosses, as well as a bunch of other tips. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then you're in the right place. Let's go ahead, guys, and get into this thing. Real quick before we do, I just want to mention one more time, there is that first guide, which is what's going to go over all the basics of dispatch mode. So if you're looking for that, that guide will be linked down below in the description, as well as links to all my other guides as well. Also want to just mention that every subscription helps, so if you find this guide helpful at all, don't forget to subscribe. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on. Getting into this thing, we're going to head into our dispatch sectors and dive right into this thing. First thing I'm going to do is something I forgot to do. Two things I forgot to do in the first video. One, move my big fat head. So we're going to go over here and grab my big fat head and move it. I just want to show you guys this dispatch level down here. I didn't talk about this last time. I had it covered up. Not going to move my frame, too bad. This is your overall dispatch level. This is the level for your entire dispatch mode. You level this up by running dispatch modes with or without energy. Very key to note that you run this without energy. You still get XP for this main bonus supply down here. You also get a dispatch chest for every level of this, and those chests can contain premium items. And I will say, through my exploits starting new accounts, I found that I generally found at least one premium item from these chests in the first 40 chests. So by level 40, not going to happen for everybody, but I just wanted you guys to know that's something good to push for on a new account. See if you can grab an extra premium item. All right, and we'll talk a little more in a bit about farming that XP, but for now, we're just going to move on. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. And then the other thing I missed in the original dispatch guide that's so important, and I ended up just adding it in a pinned comment, the rewards change at stage 7-1. You'll see here they're all silver. As soon as you get up 7-1, they turn gold. Every stage after 7-1 has a chance to drop premium items. It is a very low chance, and it can hit anything ISO, Uru, cards, or custom gear. And because you get so many more ISO from dispatch mode, it's more likely to hit an awakened ISO, but fear not, just keep grinding, and eventually, it took me 6 months about, and I finally, this is where I hit some of the worst RNG on this account, by the way. It took me about 6 months, and I finally got a P card from this thing, 5 months. So yeah, just pointing that out as well, need to get that on the books. All right, guys, let's get into the interesting stuff here. So, first thing I want to tell you guys is that when you first start doing dispatch, right, we're on like first couple days of your account, the first barrier you're going to hit is probably stage 4-1. We go in here and we look at the information on this stage. This tab right here, the villains tab, is going to be very important for your progress through dispatch. This is going to show you the level of the boss of this stage, as well as the level of the enemies in the stage, right? And so here you can see we take a jump from 3-5. We go from right here, 3-3, 64, 3-4, 65, 3-5, 66, and then 4-1, because of the stage layout and because of the monsters continuing to increase in level, I find this is where most people are going to find their first like break point. Whether it's day 1, day 2, day 3, day 7, whatever it is, you may struggle with 4-1. So just don't be surprised if you feel a spike in difficulty here. All you have to do is use all the general tips for dispatch to keep moving forward. There's nothing special here. There's just a spike in difficulty, and the monster levels continue to increase. You'll notice by the end of Sector 4, we're all the way up to monster level, enemy level 71. Which is important, because as soon as we step into Stage 5, guys, this is 5-1, Sector 5, this is where we're fighting enemies that are level 72. And this is where we hit kind of a break point with their ability to dodge your attacks. Phantom X is the first boss we're going to talk about here, and as far as I know, the main issues with Phantom X, if you do run into issues with him, is that he has really high dodge and is level 72. So ignore dodge is going to be a key component to getting past this boss if you can secure it. You can also debuff him, I believe, so all defense down, Dr. Voodoo, we'll talk about that, more about that later. But you should be able to push through this guy pretty easily. I just did want to point out, this is where we jump up to 72, and this is where Ignore Dodge starts to become very relevant. Ignore Dodge is going to help you hit characters, enemies, bosses that are higher level than your characters. So here, when you start doing Sector 5, you're probably only going to have Tier 3 level 70s. You probably won't have those level 72s unlocked. So some Ignore Dodge can go a long way, whether it's on a leadership or a custom gear, whatever it's on. If you can find it, it can be very helpful. You can also get it from some support characters as well, like Valkyrie, and then certain uniforms can also provide it to your team. All right, moving on here. We'll get into some of these other bosses. Pretty easy, pretty easy. Karnak's the same thing as Phantom X, as far as I know. And then bum, we get to the man himself, Maximus. And this is where almost everybody runs into a brick wall in Dispatch. If I had $1 for everyone who asked me how to get past Maximus since I started this channel, well, let's talk about it and see if we can't figure it out, guys. So, first thing to note about Maximus is he is immune to debuffs. That means you cannot abuse the Dr. Voodoo lead with Loki's all defense down here. The all defense down won't apply. So it doesn't matter that Dr. Voodoo is increasing it because you simply can't apply it. So for this stage, few key things to note. You can try to get it done at level 70, and I think you can do it. But if you do this with level 70 characters, it's going to take a good team, and it's going to take good builds. It is difficult. He puts barrier on himself over and over and over again, so he's cushioning a lot of your attacks with barrier. It's like making attacks not hit his health, just hit the barrier. So it's constantly taking away some of your attacks. And then his being immune to debuffs, as well as being level 72, makes this the first really challenging sort of wall of a boss. So if you get stuck here, don't be surprised. But when you do hit him, the biggest tip I can give you is step away from that Dr. Voodoo, Loki, Thor setup, which we'll talk about here when we get to the teams, and you want to use something where you're hitting him with all the DPS you possibly can. Since you can't debuff him, right, there's no reason to bring things like all defense down or Dr. Voodoo. So you want to bring Ignore Dodge wherever you can find it. A level 72 character will make a world of difference here. But if you're using all level 70s, bring 3 DPS. Just bring your 3 highest damage dealing characters and try to just brute force your way through this guy. That's the best tip I have. Because he's immune to debuffs, you can't utilize some of those other setups. So yeah, just get your strongest DPS characters, put them in your team, beat his face in. If you still can't get it done, Ignore Dodge might help a ton. And then if you have to, you may have to get a character to level 72 in order to push past this stage, because it is the first real brick wall that's supposed to put the brakes on your progress. But if you can get him down, you'll notice that you will just blast through. Probably to like, I think it was 8-1 that me and Nadar got to or something like that on like day 3 after, or whatever, 4 or 5, whenever we got Maximus down. You just blast through like several sectors. And then the next stage that'll be maybe troublesome is actually going to be all the way up at 12-5. The rest of this stuff, if you do get stuck, it's all the same general advice. Ignore Dodge, you know, we'll talk about that again, but there's nothing specific as far as I know to these bosses, besides that you just need to focus on the basics, keep increasing your power, and keep moving through until we get to this guy. Okay, so I did a lot of research on these bosses the best I could, guys, so I hope I'm bringing you the best information that I can. I am bringing you the best I can. Hopefully it's good. So with Thane, we have an actual mechanic here we need to talk about. So Black Bolt will go down relatively easily for a lot of people when you get here, but Thane will linger. And it took me a minute to figure out why he wouldn't die. If you actually do some research into this, you'll see it was a big thing when this stage came out. People were really struggling to clear Thane with the power they had in the game. And my understanding is that similar to Thanos World Boss Legend Plus that we just got, Thane reduces all basic damage. And this sent me down a path thinking, well, hey, what is even basic damage? I mean, I knew it was like physical and energy attack are basic damage. Turns out, yes, it's basically physical and energy attack. So I believe elemental damage will work well against Thane here. It looks like people were using Mephisto back in the day. Well, not. To beat this guy, as well as characters like Jean Grey. I will also add that I believe he takes instinct damage, high instinct damage, just like Thanos Robust Legend Plus. So any tier 4s or anyone who's going to bring any extra instinct damage, a blue sword that's strong, anything like that will help here. And then I believe elemental characters will do better against this boss. I have not hard confirmed that myself. That is my understanding, is that Thane has a massive reduction to basic damage. So hopefully that helps you push through this boss. We're also dealing with level 80 bosses and enemies when we push up to this kind of stage, so another thing to keep in mind. And of course, all the other basic tricks for dispatch, ignore dodge, things like that, are going to be relevant here. But I really wanted to talk about the fact that this guy appears to reduce all basic damage, which appears to be energy and physical attack, meaning that instinct attack is separate from that because it doesn't have damage reductions applied to it, unless it's specifically instinct damage. And element damage does not appear to be basic damage. So fire damage, lightning damage, poison damage, and I'm sure veterans will correct me down below if that's not the case. But I just wanted to pass that on, hoping that it is. Next, we'll talk about Scourge. Scourge, I think, is just a pain because this is where we jump up to level 83, which is quite high. Another big jump, so ignore dodge is going to be your friend here. I didn't notice many really special mechanics about Scourge. It's just that he's kind of a bully. He maybe has a lot of hit points. There may be some damage reduction here. I wasn't able to do quite as much research on this boss, but I don't really have any tricks for him. I think when I killed him early, it was due to a bunch of procs on my cards that I was lucky to find, compounding and causing Loki to hit him just right with the ads and do a ton of damage. But yeah, other than that, for Scourge, who I know can be kind of a pain for some people, it's just a matter of getting your characters advanced, ignore dodge, using good teams, which we'll talk about in a moment, things like that to push through him and get to our next trouble spot, which is going to be the dreaded 13-5. This is where I did my best by you guys to figure out what is going on. I asked veterans, I dug deep on Google's to try and figure out what the deal is with this stage. From what I can tell, you've got two bosses here. Oh man, let me read my notes because I don't want to tell you the wrong one here. One of them is immune to debuffs, I believe. So, not both, but one of these bosses can't be debuffed. So it's going to make that one harder to kill. Hela goes up in the air and you can't hit her. She like ignores damage and then lands. So one of the big tips I can give you for these two bosses is to try and hit them together. Obviously, you want to cleave the bosses the best you can. You want to get them side by side so all your attacks are hitting both bosses. If you're piloting Doctor Strange, try and aim your 4 so that it goes through the boss you're targeting and hits the other boss. You definitely want to try to be damaging both bosses at once to get through this. Also, I will mention that Namor Tier 4 ruins these bosses. A friend checked with a friend in the higher ends of the game, shout out Nadar, and asked about this and why that might be. And their answer pretty confidently was that Namor is just really, really strong. The way his tier 3 is laid out, it basically applies a bunch of debuffs and like penetrates. It's just really, really strong. And I also think that one of these guys has basic damage reduction. I don't know that for sure, but I suspect it. And Namor Tier 4 does element damage, and I think that's part of why he cooks them. I think it's a combination of the element damage that he's doing, the AoE on his Tier 3, and the debuffs on it, just the setup on it, that do the damage. But for some reason, Namor Tier 4 absolutely claps these guys. So if you're struggling and you happen to have Namor Tier 4 sitting there, give him a shot. He might help. Other than that, guys, it's going to be ignore dodge. It's going to be using a powerful team. It's going to be probably getting up towards tier 4s and stuff like that at this point. Know that pushing past 13-5 is late game dispatch, and you shouldn't be too frustrated if you're getting stuck here. This is a very difficult stage to clear. Those are basically the tips I have for it. Try and cleave them together. I think element damage might have an advantage here. Ignore dodge is going to be very, very helpful. Watch out for Hela jumping up in the air and flying to some random place where you're not even hitting her. And do note that the monsters and bosses are level 83 here. So there you go. And that's pretty much the last trouble stage here. The only other thing to note here is that on stages 14-4 and 14-5, after you kill the boss, waves of ads will spawn. It can make these stages a little more difficult, and if you're getting frustrated or wondering why that happens, it's just a gimmick. It's part of clearing these stages. You have to get the boss down quickly so that you can clear out the stages. As far as I know, none of the bosses in Sector 14 have particular gimmicks about them. It's just like monster level and stuff here. You get all the way up to monster level 85 here at the end. In these last couple stages. Can be a bit difficult to push through, but I believe you guys can do it. With this guide and your skills, you'll be pushed through 14.5 in no time at all. Woo! All right, so that takes us through the trouble bosses, trouble stages that you might be getting stuck at. I'm glad we got a chance to talk about all that, break it down. The other thing I want to talk about here, oh no, my pips are coming. We got to collect these soon. I'm saving it for stream, is farming this bonus the dispatch level XP that's behind my big old noggin here. I want to talk about that. So a lot of people ask what's the most efficient stage to farm overnight for that XP, and I can't tell you exactly what the most efficient stage is because I'm lazy and I didn't test for it because it's a pretty big thing to test for. But what I can tell you is that the highest stage you can run is almost always not the answer. If you leave the highest stage you can run, farming overnight, you're going to do far less runs. They're going to take much longer to clear on auto than you would if you put it on a lower stage for far little, a far smaller XP increase, there it is, than the difficulty increase that you're facing. So for me, I was pushed all the way up into Sector 13, and I believe I was farming stage 11-1. If I had checked the XP results that I was getting, I think I probably could have done an even lower stage that gave me similar XP results. But just a tip I wanted to pass on in this advanced guide, that farming the maximum stage, and I don't mean it's a little less efficient, I mean we're talking like you're gonna add an extra 2 weeks on your farming if you try to farm the most difficult stage overnight all the time. So anyways, just an extra tip for you guys there. And then talk about the dispatch shop really quick. I just have a couple tips here, and basically that is when you are looking at this dispatch shop, mythic cards are good. They're expensive, but we need mythic cards. We need them to craft our P cards. We need them for bonus card rerolls. So I think that's a good investment of your gold most of the time. Go ahead and pick up the P cards. I just want to tell people the obelisks are a no-no, in my opinion. Do not spend 1,000,000 gold on an extreme obelisk. It is simply not worth it. They're like 800 and something thousand or something like that. It's insanely overpriced. To have a mythic card for 600,000 and an obelisk for 900,000 is just beyond me. But anyways, stay away from those as far as I'm concerned. And the other thing I wanted to mention is something I've been doing lately because I've been struggling so much for biometrics. When I got a little further and I could keep a cushion of around 300 tokens, so you'll notice I'm not going to pick up these crystal bios here, around 300 tokens, I do let myself use some of these tokens for biometrics. I find I get behind on bios, and I find that's a good way to kind of spend the extra that I have. I'm always watching out for the tier 4 materials, but I don't need the some of these other things so much anymore, and especially from these tokens. I think biometrics are actually one of the more desirable things here because the emblem data is now available in Shadowlands chests, which gave us a little more freedom of how we use our dispatch shop tokens. So I wanted to throw that in here as well. Whew. All right, guys, let's talk about teams. Let's get into the teams here. We're going to head over to an infographic. All right, let me jump over here as well. There we go. Now we're all in the same place, looking good. So I have teams laid out here basically for your entire progression through dispatch, and I'm just going to run through them here really quick. When you hit 5-1, you should be running something that looks like this. Dr. Voodoo in the lead. You should be piloting Loki to use his 5th skill. And if you don't know his rotation, I'll drop it right here. 3, cancel 5, cancel 4. It's more complicated than that for ABL by a lot, or anything else, but for dispatch, that's the main thing you need to know. 3 for the buffs, 5 for the clap on all the mobs, and then the 4 bounces you around to do additional damage. Just want to make sure people know to do that. But then Iron Man as well for single target. And this is going to be your probably strongest early game dispatch team. Loki, I know, is such a weird thing right now, but I've said this a million times. Until he's replaced in ABL, I don't think it's worth skipping his uniform early. It simply provides too much power for clearing dispatch early on your account. That's just my opinion. There are other ways to go, especially with Dr. Voodoo now. There's another option. But these guys synergize, so let's keep moving forward. Here, let's talk about 5-4. This is Maximus, right? And this, we're going to talk about Dr. Voodoo's magic trick here. So if you're pulling Dr. Voodoo out, you don't have his uniform, you just have his base look, you're going to run something like this. Iron Man in the lead for the cooldown reduction, because at this point, you'll probably benefit from it greatly. You'll be really early on your account. And then you're going to pilot Loki and have Thor as your other DPS. And you try clear the ads by piloting Loki. So you're gonna, when you get to Maximus, there'll be several waves of ads that spawn. You're gonna clap them with Loki to do the most damage you can with the 5th and the 4 on Maximus, right? And then once the ads are dead, you are gonna swap straight over to Iron Man, and you'll start running Iron Man's rotation with that CTP of energy that you picked up using my new player guide on the channel, linked below. You have a CTP of energy on your Iron Man, which is really going to push his single target damage, and he gets that bonus to the last, I believe it's 30%. I never remember if it's 30 or 40 or 50. I think it's 30% of the enemy's health. He gets a big old bonus to his damage. So this actually synergizes really well, and is the team that I used to push through Maximus. But Papa got a brand new bag. Dr. Voodoo with this new uniform, if you have it, if you're using a strategy where you picked it up, your account's been around for a while maybe and you're catching up on dispatch, I don't know, whatever the circumstances may be, but if you have this uniform, put it in the lead slot and run it with these two. This gives support to universals, which is going to bump their damage by, I think it's 40%, something like that, to villains. He's also going to provide a big old ignore dodge buff. He claps with this uniform. He does a bunch of damage. So this setup right here, I can't run it. I unfortunately do not have Dr. Voodoo's spicy Bruno Mars uniform, but if you can run it, I am fully confident that this team will absolutely slap in dispatch, and it should hit Maximus nice and hard right in the face. So hopefully that gets you through 5-4. 12-5, 13-1, and 13-5, you're going to be looking at really similar teams to push through these. Once you get further in dispatch towards 12-5, towards 13-5, Loki will fall off pretty hard. You may still be able to utilize him playing manually to get some really good results, push yourself through some clutch situations, but for the most part, he gets pushed out. That's why I don't recommend people follow me in tier 4 him. 80's great, the Uni's great, no tier 4. These guys are going to come in and replace him. So you're going to be looking at a team like Doctor Strange lead, where he's going to give energy attack, and he's going to give ignore dodge, which is going to be very nice for this team. You also have Storm synergizing with Thor by buffing his elemental damage. This team is quite nice. If you can run it, give it a shot. And if you're following my guide for new players, you should be set up to use this team. The other team I want to shout out here is possibly one of the best dispatch teams, if not the best dispatch team in the game right now. And that is the new Dr. Voodoo uniform in the lead with Null and Thor. If you have a built Null and a built Thor and a built Dr. Voodoo, this team is very, very strong. The synergy between Dr. Voodoo and these other two gentlemen and the damage that Dr. Voodoo brings to the table as well seem to synergize extremely well. Again, I don't have this uniform yet, so shout out to Nadar and the other people that did testing on this for me. I can't test it myself, but it appears to be very, very strong. Seeing some really good results from this. So it should work really well for any of these stages here. The last thing we'll talk about here in this slide is your endgame teams, right? So we see the same team of Thor, Dr. Voodoo, and Null. I think it's a great team. Another thing that's excellent about this team is it's fully free to play. There's nothing in here that isn't available to free to play players. It's pretty expensive, but we're talking end game farming here, guys. So this should be a really good team for you. I will note as well here on the bottom, you can see the middle row here, the middle character is the leadership in all these teams. Next, you got that Doctor Strange, Storm, and Thor team. Same one we have here. I just repeated these, I know. Hey, I inverted them so it would look different. This is a great team. Consider running it. Another fantastic free-to-play team. If you don't have Dr. Voodoo's uniform, this is great. I will tell you what I run right now is Doctor Strange, Null, and Storm. So you can also do kind of a permutation of any of these, honestly. But I run that because I like Storm. She's built really, really strong on my account, and I believe she does a little better than my Thor. and Null is just a monster. So that's the team I run. You can also run like a triple DPS team. This is one I know some of the higher end players run with the seasonal rogue uniform with element damage, Thor self-buffing himself with his artifact, with his leadership for the lightning resist, give himself some extra damage, and then Storm buffing them both with element damage, and then just bringing a ton of DPS to the table with 3 tier 4 DPS. You can also do a team like this, which is essentially the same thing, but Magneto also brings a leadership to the table, which is very nice. High damage characters, buffing element damage as well. And then the only team setup I'm aware of that I didn't really incorporate here is one where you run a support as well. So shout out to Valkyrie. Valkyrie fits really well in some of these teams, and you can sort of slot her in. If you're having trouble anywhere, try slotting her in instead of one of your DPS. I didn't have a lot of success with that. A lot of people do. Valkyrie is very, very good. She's going to provide ignore dodge for your whole team, which is huge in dispatch, as well as bringing a support buff. So there you go, guys. That's going to break it down for your endgame teams. Hopefully you find that helpful, and hopefully I did a good job digging up the right teams for this thing. Moving on here, we're going to go to one more slide, y'all. And you know I've got some tips for you guys. Let's just break down some extra tips here. This is going to be a nice slide for you guys to have for quick reference. If you're struggling with the stage, consider ... the level of the boss and enemies. We talked about this. It's huge. You may just have to say to yourself, man, these things are level 72 and I'm level 60. Oh, no wonder I'm not killing them. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. It's very crucial in dispatch, the level of the boss and enemies. Is the boss immune to debuffs? Be aware of this. You'll see immune to burn, immune to stun, immune to silence, immune to sleep, immune, popping up if they're immune to debuffs. And when you see that, you know they're immune to debuffs. Do I have ignore dodge anywhere in my team? If you're seeing dodge all the time when you're attacking things, well, you ain't hitting. So you probably need some ignore dodge. So maybe look into getting some extra ignore dodge on your team, whether it's from custom gear, leadership, supports, whatever it is, try it out, see if it helps. You may just need to advance your characters to 72, 80, or tier 4. This is just the reality of it. You're not going to clear stage 13-5 with level 70 characters. You're simply not. So at a point, you do have to just get stronger. All right, guys, moving on to the next tip here. Farm dispatch XP early for chests and extra rewards. This is big for new accounts. Get into dispatch. I encourage it all over my guides for people to get in there. Like, part of my guide is actually set up around pushing dispatch early to get those rewards rolling. That dispatch level XP that you farm overnight, don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on it, even if you can just set it aside for dinner. If you can't leave your phone running overnight, whatever it is, set it aside somewhere, let it run dispatch without energy, and start farming that XP. Those chests that you get can provide you with a really nice bump early on in the game. I've gotten a CTP of Rage week 1 on one of my accounts a long time ago, and it went to my Loki. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. I got a CTP of Insight out of here once on an early account, and I also got a P card out of one of these chests on my main account. It is that Scarlet Witch card that I lit on fire in like the first stream on the channel. So do not sleep on farming for those chests in dispatch, and farming up that level. Every 10 levels you go up, you get bonus rewards to every sector in all of dispatch. So it's very, very important. Reorganize your dispatch sectors often while your account is growing. This is particularly important for accounts that are like still building. You gain more characters all the time, and you'd be surprised how much you can get out of reorganizing your sectors. I just did this the other day. I didn't think I was going to have many gains, but I ended up taking 2 sectors from 5 to 10. And that's another extra boost to 2 sectors, more energy, more gold, more rewards. It all adds up, and it's all really important. So about once a month, I try to go back and reorganize my dispatch sectors to see if I can get some extra juice out of them. All right, when farming for XP, the highest stage is often not the best option. We talked about this. I just wanted to repeat. You could not think about this and cost yourself a lot of time. Think about the efficiency of the stage you're farming. You have lots of clear tickets in this game. Lower stages that clear faster are going to be better XP. Just check your XP and your clear time and kind of compare. Spread out power in your sectors, favoring the materials you need. don't, quote, put all your eggs in one basket. And if you're not familiar with the saying, putting all your eggs in one basket, it basically just means if you drop that basket, you broke all your eggs. So putting your eggs in several places to keep them safe keeps them from all getting destroyed. I really believe in this. Some people will tell you to bump a sector up to like 20 as soon as you can. Like if you need CCF, just stack that sector. I don't really believe in that. These things can crit. Basically, the way I understand dispatch working is every minute or whatever, you can see it's like gold per minute that it lists. You basically get your gold every minute, and then there's a chance to get any of the other rewards each tick, whether that's energy, you know, the material for that sector, whatever it is, right? So if you put all of your power into one sector, your most powerful characters into one sector, that one sector is going to hit hard, but all of the other sectors are going to give you underwhelming rewards. So if you spread out, you're more likely to have power where those energy crits hit, where those material crits hit. And if you don't have any power in the sector, when you get a crit, the crit is far less impactful. And the hits on energy are less impactful. So I just find it's a better strategy to spread my power out between my sectors. Dispatch mode is meant to take a long time to clear. Remember, we are pushing really far, really fast. Don't feel bad if it takes a bit. This is an important tip. It seems like filler, and it is, but as well as being filler, it is an important tip. Don't get down on yourself. See a lot of people getting frustrated. I can't clear 13.5. I can't clear 13.5. It's hard, y'all. This is difficult content, so just be proud of yourself for the gains you're making. Keep trying new things, switch your teams around, all that jazz. You'll get it done. You'll be getting your carbonadium every day in no time. All right, guys, hopping back over to BlueStacks here. We'll just head back to the main menu and wrap this thing up. I just want to say thank you so much to all you guys for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all so much. Thanks for waiting. I know this guide was delayed. Been getting a lot done, a lot going on. Appreciate you guys for waiting. And yeah, other than that, if you enjoyed this video, learned anything, had a good time, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see more of the live stream series we do every day or more of these guide videos, live streams are at 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, helps out a lot. I'm Olden Gray. This is Free to Play, and I hope you all have a spectacular day. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you.